friends! So with the release of The Invasion of the Tearling June 9th, I thought it would be a good idea to kind of talk about some of the books that I've been loving and what I'm currently reading and things that I'm looking forward to reading this summer. So first I want to talk about a few books that I would recommend reading that I've personally read and liked. So the first one is Queen of the Tearling, and this book, okay, so let me give you a quick rundown of the book without giving away too much. So Kelsey is the queen. She has been raised basically in exile, apart from her family and basically her country. And on her 19th birthday, she sets out to basically become queen. She's been, learning her entire life how to be a queen. And so her 19th birthday, she sets out with the Queen's Guard, and there are people that don't want her to become queen because they pretty much like things the way they are. And so, it's a dangerous journey for her to get to the Tearling. She's not like your typical queen. She's not elegant and, she's not even slender, actually. But she, loves reading. She's a feminist, and I love her. So, anyway, she has the Queen's Guard who are set out to protect her on her journey. She basically comes in and just blows up everything. Everything pretty much changes. The status quo is basically, eliminated when she gets here. So that causes a lot of turmoil. And so that is a lot of the book. And I really don't want to give anything away. It's a really good read. It's a really good book. It has so many elements to it. Feminism, basic human rights, civil rights issues, and just, it's crazy. I can't even describe it. But so that's the first book. Hopefully I did a good job of making you want to read that. Okay, next book. So another book that I really like and would recommend, Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. It talks about basically thinking without thinking. And it talks about thin slicing and Warren Harding error is one of the chapters in it. And that chapter basically talks about how Warren Harding became president basically because of his looks and not based on people thinking about his policies and his ability to actually be a president. A lot of the book, it talks about how basically as a society, a lot of our thoughts in our subconscious is kind of fed by the things around you, the things you see on the news, the things you hear from people around you, and what you can do to kind of change that thinking. How, a lot of people might see a black kid walking down the street and automatically think that he's dangerous, whether he's holding a soda can or a gun, This is a really good book. Pick it up, read it. I'm sure it's at your local library. Read it. Good book. Let's move on to things I'm currently reading. So, let's start with this. 5 Love Languages. My husband and I actually got this book a while ago. Should be done with it by now, but, stuff happens. But this book is basically, obviously, talks about 5 love languages. The 5 love languages are words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. So, let's say that, my love language is acts of service, and my husband's is quality time. I might think that, doing something for him, that might be the way that I show love, but it may not be the way that he receives it, you know what I mean? So, it just kind of talks about how to show love to someone in their love language, and I can't give a full review on it because I'm not done, but so far I like it. Next, this book, oops, Stumbling on Happiness, by Daniel Gilbert. Another really good writer. His writing style is, I would say, probably similar to Malcolm Gladwell. So if you like Malcolm Gladwell, then you might like Daniel Gilbert's writing style as well. I'm not done with this book either. I'm currently reading it. But what I've gathered so far is that we spend so much time living in the future. You know, we spend so much time planning for that next vacation, or, you know, working for the weekend. You know, we spend so much time thinking about the future and what, you know, what's planning for it, that when we actually get there, we may not be as satisfied or as happy with it as we thought we were. So it's kind of talking about, you know, how to be happy in living for now, and I'm really enjoying it. I would highly recommend getting this. I'm sure it's at your local bookstore or library if you don't feel like spending money for it. Library. Next. Now, onto books that I'm looking forward to reading. Number one book that I'm looking forward to reading, Invasion of the Tearling. It's the sequel to the first book that I talked about, The Queen of the Tearling. And I didn't read anything about this. I don't like spoilers, so that's why I try so hard not to give away, you know, plot and stuff like that about some of these books. But very excited to read that. My sister just picked it up yesterday. I'm pretty sure she's already done with it by now. If not, she'll be done with it tonight, so I'll have it tomorrow and start reading it. But I'm very excited to read that. She said that she's loving it, so I'm sure I will too. Erika Johansen I like her style of writing, so I'm looking forward to reading that. So next, once I finish my 1, 2, 3 books that I'm currently reading, and then get to the Queen of the Tearling, or Invasion of the Tearling, I'll probably start on this, which is, it's not new, but it has been recommended to me by my husband. He loves Abraham Lincoln. So he really, you know, I think Abraham Lincoln's probably one of his favorite presidents. But this book, from what I've gathered, now I haven't read it, so I may be wrong, but what I've gathered is it talks about So the next book on my list of wanting to reads would be Born to Run, by Christopher McDougall. Very quickly, this book is basically about how he travels to this Native American tribe in Mexico, and it's full of these basically super athletes and endurance runners, and he studies them, and I think he was prone to injury beforehand and kind of studied them and watched and learned kind of what made them so non-injury prone, and it's just basically about his findings. And have not picked it up yet. It will probably be a little bit, because there's a few books before that I would like to read, but definitely going to hit my library up to get that one. And the last book on my list of things to read right now, anyway, is The Power of Positive Thinking. And that book is by Reverend Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. It's a long title. In this book, it basically, how many times have I said basically? My goodness. This book talks about, just like the title, the power of positive thinking, and how you can overcome, negative thoughts and doubt, and help you to, have a more positive outlook on life and better your life in that way. So I really want to read that. I think that it would be a good book for anyone, you know, whether you deal with, you know, a lot of negative thoughts, or just if you just, you know, want to have a more positive outlook on life. So those are the books that I'm recommending, currently reading, and looking forward to reading. I'd like to know what everyone else is reading. Let me know if there are any books, you know, that I need to look out for, any series that are, you know, new and up and coming. Any recommendations, I will be sure to check out. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye!
I was scared of dentists and the dark. I was scared of pretty girls and starting conversations. All my friends are turning green. Yeah, the magician's assistant in their dream. Oh.